Oh my gosh. What just happened? Nothing. Hey guys and gals, Homestead Prepper. Okay, this is part 2 of my wife's car was taken out by an EMP and homemade EMP protector. And this video is for information purposes only, and you should work at your own risk. Well, that was my impression of how an EMP would go down. The vehicle would just be running around fine, and then it would just shut off. You know, now you may be able to restart it, you may not. But this is the installed version of what I've got here, and I'll I guess I can critique it at the end of the video, but definitely I would use stranded wires. This is just the prototype, and you see how this works. This is a 100 amp breaker, and if it trips, you know, that LED goes off. And if I come out here and it's not tripped and that LED is off, then something happened. What's your impression of this, Mrs. HSP, from a layman's standpoint?
I want one.
Well, this is what this is for your car, because you do that long distance gallivanting from state to state, seeing friends and family, and I can't go with you all the time because of my job, but
I think if this works, it certainly would have kept me out of a jam the last time whenever the lightning took out my electronics in my other car. So if this will help that I'm all for it.
Alright, well, I got it installed. I'm going to see if that LED kills the battery, and I guess part 3 we're going to have to actually hit that thing with some high voltage and see if it actually protects electronics. So that'll be part 3. Alright, well, let me show you what I did to get to right here. Alright, I wanted to give a little explanation of what exactly is going on here, and I will leave these components in the description above, what I used, and guys, there's some stuff that I just can't get right now, and when that comes in I'll probably pull this board out and solder it in there. But if you look up EMP protection, you can look that up for yourselves on Wikipedia, but it's going to list neon gas discharge tubes as one of the things that will help protect against it. These are metal oxide varistors. Now these are more attuned for lightning. Now lightning EMP and nuclear generated EMP work at different times, okay? The nuclear generated one works at a lot faster, and these just aren't fast enough to compensate for that. That's why if you get a surge protector, a 12 volt surge protector, and you stick that on your car, it you know, it's probably not going to work if you have an actual EMP. Now guys, I think that lightning, you know, is obviously a lot more likely to happen than a nuclear generated EMP, but being I was going to build my own thing, I wanted some EMP protection. But you can see there's a capacitor down there. Now the real secret of nuclear generated EMP protection are these TVS diodes. Now I've got 24 of these 1.5s in here, and I've got 3 of the 5Ks in here. I couldn't find a 15 that worked at the 19 volts clamping that I need. So what that means is that if this sees 50,000 volts come in here, what it's going to do is it's going to divert the transient surge voltage to the ground. Okay, so this is going to be my battery negative, and this is going to be my chassis ground. These are hooked together. You can see the loop right here. Those are hooked all on that side. Now these are bidirectional TVS diodes. Okay, so it doesn't matter which way I orient them, as long as I hit a negative and a positive. Okay, and I've got, this is 10 gauge wire I put on here. I did another one, I used some 12 gauge wire. Now guys, don't beat me up too badly on my solder job. It's been like over 40 years ago since I had any electronic classes. So, but anyway, let me show you a little bit more of what I got going on. Okay guys, first thing you're going to notice is this looks a little different than that last thing that I just showed you. That's because these are 2 different ones here, and this has the 5K TVS diodes, but they're on the back side of it. So, and I've got it currently siliconed in there, and that's just a Romex connector that I siliconed. And this is just one of these little boxes you can get from Home Depot. And I'm waiting for that to dry. And what I've got here is I've got a 100 amp fuse. Now I think on David Nooner, which I'll leave a link to his, he has a wire he uses as his fuse. But anyway, I can come out and see if that's been tripped, and then it can just be reset. So I'm gonna wait for that to dry, and then we're gonna get this installed. Alright, I debated on what kind of box to stick this thing in right here. And this has the advantage of there's nothing conductive in there. This is metal. If I had some Lexan or plexiglass, I could line it with there, but that's more work. And then just put, a cover on it or whatever. But I went with that other box you just saw. Any one of these would work, but like I said, you're going to have to insulate the metal one. Alright, that's going to be our LED. And I just drill a little hole there, and this is going to actually come through here. And I'll caulk that. Got to put my gasket on. Alright, it just goes through that little hole right there. So we can't keep our gasket straight, but Alright, we don't want to go too tight, we'll break that base. Well, there we go, guys. That's part of it. Let's go install it. Alright, well that's about where it's going to set. I'm going to screw it on. These are just regular screws. I got some self-tappers, but they're a little too short. This will go right through that body metal. You could put some double-sided tape back there. Alright, let's get some wires and let's wire it up. Alright guys, I don't know if you can see it or not, but we want that off, okay? Alright, what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to turn this on and touch it and see if there's any explosions or anything. We'll give it the smoke test, and we're just going to touch it. Got my safety glasses on, and we got a LED coming on. So, alright, well, let's turn that back off. That's off. No smoke. It's a good sign. Alright, and this one we want to put that to the chassis. So this right here seems to be the closest bolt. Of course, it's not going to come out. we're just going to put it right there. I'm going to use one of these little self-tapping screws. Now guys, the better way to do this would be, okay guys, I need to hook that to the chassis, and the better way to do this would be to use like a 1/4 bolt. You know, it'd be more substantial, but for right now, we're just going to do this. It's just a testing phase. Alright, let's turn it all on. And there we go. You can see the LED. Turn it back on. Alright, green for go. Now I need to get a little silicone and put that around here. I need to put it around there. So let me do that. Okay guys, well the installation is complete. This is on my 95 Nissan truck I'm trying this out on, and looks like this thing is never going to sleep. So if I ever see that LED go out and this is tripped, then I know that we had some type of surge, and we'll reset it, and if the LED comes back on, then everything else is probably working. If that does not come back on, then it's probably needs another one. But yeah, I use solid wire here guys. I should have used stranded, but I didn't have any number 12 stranded. The other one I've got the number 10 stranded on there. That's the one that's actually going to go on my wife's car.